Sex and the narcissist. Sex plays a huge part in the relationship that the narcissist has with many people, but not all. Sex is a major weapon of seduction. It is utilized because the narcissist sees it, consciously or subconsciously, as a means to assert control over an individual, to draw responses from them which provides fuel, to allow that person to be ensnared so that the character traits and residual benefits can be obtained. As you ought to know by now from my work, that whatever the narcissist does when it comes to another person, it relates to one or more of the prime aims. And when it involves somebody who has been identified as making the next intimate partner primary source, then it must be about all of the four prime aims, because in order to enable the narcissist to function with economy of effort, all four aspects must be achieved. The individual must be comparatively easy to control, and they must, positively fountained with fuel, have significant character traits and those residual benefits. If that is the case, that person is more likely to become the intimate partner primary source. Somebody who is difficult to control but has excellent fuel, character traits and residual benefits could be the primary source, but more likely they would be held in a position as a secondary source. Similarly, an individual that's really easy to control but isn't that good with regard to the fuel, character traits and residual benefits is more likely to remain a secondary, possibly a tertiary source. When the narcissism detects an individual that can be easily controlled and that they have excellent fuel, character traits and residual benefits, they are more likely going to be the primary source. And therefore the narcissism operates in a way to ensure that that person is ensnared, locked down, captured, if you will, as soon as possible. And one of the chief ways of doing that is to use sex. There are lots of different ways that a narcissist, of course, can get to market, i.e. to the prime aims, using vulnerability, false compassion, mirroring. They can even involve buddying up against a perceived common enemy. But one of the most common, if not most common methods of ensnaring someone is to use sex. Sex isn't just used, of course, in the ensnarement, by doling out lots of it, of a high quality, but it can also be used in devaluation, both in terms of withdrawal or engaging in sexual practices that an individual finds unpleasant, hurtful, perhaps even frightening. Sex plays a part with regard to all four cadres of narcissist. In its conventional sense, i.e. being hypersexualized, whereby the narcissist wants lots of sex with you, anytime, any place, anywhere, lots of different positions, often quite kinky, then in such circumstances you'll see that with the somatic and the elite. Cerebral narcissists also use sex, less often in its execution, and more usually in a more remote setting. I don't mean making love to you up in the mountains, but rather doing so remotely from you by engaging in sexual activity by way of sexting, Skype calls with mutual masturbation and so like, talking dirty down the telephone line. Victim narcissists also utilize sex. In some instances, it is a particular kink which involves them being infantilized. In other instances, it is through incompetence that they elicit sympathy. In some instances, by allowing themselves to be controlled through the sexual acts, but because they are the ones that have given up that control, they thus still have that control. Sex, of course, is something that's used against our victims because invariably sex is mixed up with the idea of love and intimacy. The narcissist muddies the waters in that regard. And the empathic victim will invariably see the provision of sex as linked to intimacy, to love, to having that deep bond and connection. Of course, the narcissist is just utilizing sex as a tool to get to you. I often explain that if making chocolate cake was just as effective as sex as getting to the prime aims, then you would have so many narcissists that were master bakers. It is important to understand the role that sex plays in relation to your relationship with the narcissist, how we use it to ensnare you, how we use it to keep you ensnared, how we use it to devalue you. The various, perhaps unusual aspects of success, how does that fit in with the narcissist? How does that link in with regard to certain sexual practices? What might you be expected to do? What might you be expected to be involved in? What might it be that the narcissist intends to do to you? Are all narcissists exceptionally good at sex? Or are some less than so? And if so, why is that? Many, many questions about the way that a narcissist will use sex against you. Recognize that it is used as a form of manipulation. It is used as a tool to get to you. But it is so important for you to unravel all of this, so important for you to comprehend how the narcissist uses sex. Because clouded by your own emotional thinking, you will repeatedly make the mistake of believing that because the narcissist has lots of sex with you and it's of a high caliber, that narcissist really likes you, really loves you, and you need to be woken up. To do so, I would invite you to read my groundbreaking book, Sex and the Narcissist. Many people, having read this, have spent time picking their jaws up off the floor, as it contains so many major wake-up moments for them. It explains so many facets of the dynamic between the narcissist and the victim and brings you clarity like nothing before. It will cause you to completely review your view of the way that sex exists in your relationship with the narcissist. Whether this is a boyfriend or girlfriend, spouse, cohab, partner, whether it's as an affair partner, booty call, bit on the side, mistress, the other man, the other woman, whether it's intermittent one-night stands, understanding the Madonna whore complex, understanding why the narcissist cheats. These questions and so many more are answered in this absolutely fantastic book. You can obtain it from the Knowledge Vault utilizing the link contained in the video description, and it's also available on Amazon. It is one of what I call my foundation texts, something that everybody ought to read to enable them to understand their relationship with the narcissist and, just as importantly, to help you protect yourself. I would encourage all of you to access this book if you want to understand narcissism. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.